Welcome to the Our Daily Magic podcast. As you know, I am Kai E, and this is co-host
Dell.
Thank you so much for joining us today. We've got an amazing episode up for you, and we're going to get introduced to our amazing guest just after our intro. Here we go. So the title of today's episode is Live Your Dash. And today we have here with us author Jesse A. Cruz, who lives in upstate New York with his wife and children. The Cruz family currently serves at Cross Creek Church, and he has profoundly served our country as an Iraq war veteran in the U.S. Army. Jesse is the Assistant Director of the Ontario County Youth Advocate Programs, Inc. In addition to his career, he's been engaged in speaking at correctional facilities and coaching sports. He has a BA in community youth development at Nazareth College, and currently Jesse is pursuing his master's in theology at Colgate, Rochester, Crozer Divinity School. And in his spare time, we're like, what spare time? He enjoys traveling, hiking with his family and friends. Welcome, Jesse.
Thank you so much for having me on the show.
Absolutely, it's an honor.
Yeah.
There's so much there, and of course, thank you for your service. We just passed Veterans Day. Lots of honor, reverence for everything that you do.
Thank you.
You're most welcome. So, like, where do we begin? I feel like asking what is it like getting a master's in theology?
Yeah.
So I've been I'm old with it right now, but going to this school and being surrounded with other people who are on the same path, the same journey, who have the same goal in mind. It's been empowering because it just challenges you to rise up to a whole new level that I didn't know was possible. So I'm just so thankful to anytime I get an opportunity to, share my thoughts and ideas and beliefs with people who are on the same wavelength. It's always empowering. So it's just been an awesome journey.
Love it. And I already have a question to go into deeper in that, because you talk about people who resonate with the same mission, the same goal. What is that for you? What is your goal? What is your mission?
So my mission is the acronym HOPE, HOPE, helping other people every day.
Wow.
And I just feel like, my wife and I, we've been called to do that. And the method that I choose to do that is through writing and speaking. So I've been given a gift, and I think the gift is not valuable if you don't give it to somebody, because gifts are meant to be given. And so my gift is that to speak and to write, and that's how I'm going to encourage people.
Wow. That's a powerful goal, mission that you're doing. And but I like to go even deeper into that. How did you discover that mission, or how did that mission discover you?
So, my intent in life, I didn't plan to be an author or a speaker. That was never my goal. But God had other plans. You know what I mean? And what happened about 3 years ago, a little over 3 years ago, is now my daughter was born prematurely, and she was in serious condition in a NICU unit, and fighting for her life every single day. You know what I mean? And that was the roughest period of my entire life. And watching her fight, and watching her pass away and then come back to life multiple times was very difficult. And then after 42 days of her fighting, she passed away. And I was with her when it happened. It was traumatic for us, and it was the worst experience of my entire life. But I truly believe no matter how traumatic the experience is, that if we allow God into our lives to use it for good, that it will help and impact people all over the world. And this little 1 pound girl that no one's ever met before is impacting people right now. And that's just amazing to me. So it's because of her, to carry on her life and her legacy to inspire people all over the world.
Yeah.
And my condolences to you and also to your wife.
Thank you.
And so powerful how you're able to use what happened to you in that moment as a way of connecting deeper to God and building that relationship, and also to bring it out, a strong motivation factor. We all have like our own different circumstances in life that happen, in which we have a choice, and we could choose that divinity, that divine aspect of understanding more about what happened, or we can go into the the cycles of emotions, I would like to say, of being upset, angry, and all these different ways of dealing with it. It's so powerful how you're able to like get into that place of that. Did it happen immediately of you guys getting to this place of peace and connecting with God? Was there like a process of you getting there? How were you able to like really get into this part in which you're able to integrate so beautifully what happened to you?
I mean, it's definitely a process. You know, I mean, there were moments where, I didn't feel like my life had any value. I feel like God didn't exist or didn't love me or didn't care. I had those battles with God on a regular basis. There was times where I was, my mental health was suffering traumatically, and there were suicidal thoughts in my mind because of what I went through and the pain that I was going through. So, I mean, it's taken years. You know what I mean, for me to get to the point where I'm at. And at this point in my life, over 3.5 years later, this is the most peace I've ever experienced in my entire life. So how can someone who's lost a child be able to say that? Is although it's not me. That's how I know it's not in my ability or my power, because it comes from a greater power from above.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm so curious about the title Live Your Dash. What does that mean to you? Where did it come from?
So it's a concept that's been around. There's other variations of books with similar titles and things like that. But for me, the dash is always represented. If you go to like a graveyard, at the time someone's born to the time they pass away, that dash in the middle, that signifies what we do with the time that we've been given. That's what we do to make our life full of meaning and purpose and the quality of our life. You know what I mean? So although that's a small part on a tombstone, that's what it's all about, is the time we're here. We don't know when our last day is going to happen. We don't know our expiration date. But what are we going to do with the time we've been given? So must live our dash purposefully and meaningfully every single day.
Mm. Mm. I didn't think so many like powerful like nuggets would get dropped so early in the show, and it's like,
Hey, go on, I'll hold him back. I'll hold him back.
No, don't hold back. Don't hold back.
no,
Keep 'em
no,
coming.
no, keep them coming. This is beautiful, and this is the space of us being able to do that, because it's impacting not only myself but our audience who are listening as well. It's just so much profound truth, and I like to I like to say, like, let them marinate for a little bit, because of that. It's so profound, like living your life. It's something that a lot of us we take for granted, that part from when we're born to that point where we die. And a lot of us like to live life as if tomorrow's promised, or even the next moment is promised, and really holding ourselves back from really living life. So my question for you is, what do you feel like for people like in between this moment of when they're born, or when they die, what would be like the most fulfilling thing to potentially do in that gap?
I would say, obviously, you know, understanding that your life has value. I think there's a lot of people, because of the pain and suffering they've gone through, they feel like they have deserved it or it's their fault. And I first need to accept the fact that, bad things are going to happen to good people and bad people. I mean, that's part of life. And understanding that pain and trauma that we all experience, is that if you can just sit back and look back on it and understand that that was meant to be a bad moment, not lead you to a bad life. And that bad moment always is a teachable moment if we sit back and reflect and learn on it and marinate on it, like you said. So I think to live that dash in a fulfilling way, I lay it out in the book in the 8 different areas of our lives, but it's recognizing that our gift that we've been given is meant to be shared. It's meant to be displayed to the world, because what good is a gift if it's never opened? And I believe there's people in this world who've been given a gift and they've kept it trapped in a box. They haven't opened it up. They haven't used it. They haven't plugged it in. They haven't charged it up. They haven't sharpened the skills they've been given. And then they're wondering why they haven't had the impact that they desire, because they never opened the gift. They never read the instruction manual. So I think it's understanding that we all been given something great, and there's greatness within all of us. Now we just need to be brave enough to share it with others.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm so curious, that you're studying theology. Just for those of us who are watching that does not know what theology is, if you could let us know what that is. And then I'd love to ask you, has your studies led you to more questioning or more acceptance, or both?
So theology is the study of God. Now, God, I also believe, is a concept that no human mind can completely comprehend it or understand it, because if we could, he wouldn't be God. But going to these classes and getting this education will help us come closer to understanding his characters as best as humanly possible in our own limited understanding. And I think anytime you're in a spiritual journey, I don't really think it's about the answers. I actually think it's more about the questions, because the greater questions a person asks will lead them to greater answers. So it's really, to me, it's about, I got more questions through this journey than I've gotten answers.
Can we pry into some of those questions that you've had?
Absolutely. I think that, I realized, I wrestle with it, and I still do. I asked the question, why did my child have to die? Why? Like, why did this happen to us? I feel like we've done everything we could to be a faithful follower. I believe that we've done our best to be great parents. So why would a parent have to go through that and go through that suffering? And God already knows, because he had that happen with his child. So what I've learned is that the suffering of one can bring healing to many. And my daughter has done just that with reaching people through this book and speeches and podcasts and interviews all over America, in places I never dreamed of being able to reach. And he'll use anything, and anything that we're willing to give to him completely, no matter if it's the best day of your life or the worst day of your life and everything in between. Suffering actually brings us closer and actually reveals our dependence on God. It doesn't disqualify his existence. It actually makes it more real.
Wow.
Dell's blown away over here.
Yeah. It's the life and surrendering to that higher power, that power that's always here and always present. But it's just, you can't even put the full on definition of this higher power, because it's just, yeah. I'm blown.
I'm getting more and more curious, so I'm just going to keep asking questions. Okay. And that is that I'd love to know, like, what does your day look like? Like when you wake up in the morning, what are the first thoughts that come to your head? What are the first things that you do? How do you greet your life?
So I'm very careful in how I plan out my day. You know what I mean? So in the beginning, I spend time reading. I spend time in prayer. Sometimes that's involving writing and journaling. I must do one thing for my wife before she leaves for the day, because she leaves earlier in the morning than I do. So whether that's something simple of getting her a cup of coffee, that's really important to me, because at that moment I'm serving her, and serving others is serving God. So that cup of coffee it's not about a cup of coffee in the morning. It's about that I'm taking the time to think of somebody else. And when you get your attention off of yourself, you're able to actually get more clarity with what God wants you to do, because it's not all about you anymore. And, I have a gratitude list that I made recently, and I read that multiple times a day. And, this is something recent I've been doing. And, my mental health has struggled over the years with what I've experienced. But since I've been reading my gratitude list on a regular basis, my mental health has completely changed. Because I think too many times it's much easier to count the pain and the wounds than it is the blessings. And if you really counted them all out and listed them out, you would see that your blessings outweigh your pain 10 to 1. But we like to focus on that one. We like to focus on that one pain rather than the 10 blessings we got. And once you actually take the time to write out and read those 10 blessings, 100 blessings, no matter how many it is, like everything changes. And that's what it's been for me is the attitude of gratitude is completely transformed. Not just me, my marriage, my relationship with my children, my relationship with people and God.
You feel like doing these things, these practices you're doing is taking care of your own personal relationship with yourself, and that allows you to just show up differently in all these external relationships?
Yeah, so if I'm consistently being thankful, then what it's doing is it's humbling me for the experience that may come my way, because I'm just thankful to be alive. I'm just thankful to have anything that I've been blessed with. I mean, it just prepares the heart for the day. So like for me, if any person on planet Earth starts their day off with expressing gratitude, no matter if they're a janitor or a CEO, a mom, a dad, a brother, sister, no matter the case, they're going to be more equipped because mentally and emotionally they're more grounded, and especially they're more connected. And I think when you do those grounding techniques, that you're more prepared for whatever obstacles may come your way.
That makes a lot of sense. So what I'd love to request, there's so many, instances in a person's life. There's so many stories that I personally could tell of, the way that magic and miracles, have shown up. Is there an instance that you would like to share with our audience today about just how this presence and the way that you are cultivating it has really shown up for you in your life and how it's impacted you?
Yeah, I think for someone like me I mean, for the people who don't know, like, I have a learning disability. Um, Most people don't even know that. Um, but for someone who has processing delays like myself, who has a hard time comprehension, to become an author, it's just funny how things work like that. And so it's just little things like that that are just God showing off. Like, I've been diagnosed with this learning disability and it's just amazing to see the impact with someone who has struggles with reading comprehension, being able to produce a book to help other people to comprehend reading by putting out content. And so it's just interesting how it all works. I mean, I think God just sometimes works in reverse from what we think.
I feel personally like that's just proof of what happens when you connect to a power higher than you, and anything is possible in that space. It just shows the work that he has done to be able to get himself to that space to bring that energy in through him, which is powerful. Just my view. Just out there. Always gotta have the fine print. Right? I love he mentioned this being his speaking his truth and his story, how it opened up so many avenues for him to be able to share this and to help people as well through this. And I remember you mentioned earlier in this about the 8 steps, and I would love to hear that. And I'm pretty sure the audience will love to hear that as well. What is 8 steps for to you in their book for people who want to live their dash?
Right. So, I start off in the book, the 8 F's, and the first one is, to me, is where it all starts, and that's called focus. I mean, where your thoughts go, the person will follow. So whatever you think about, you will become. Whatever you think about is the attitude and the action and the behaviors that are going to follow. So I think it's very important for us to be careful with the thoughts that we allow to take residence in our mind. Obviously, some thoughts just pop in and out, but it's about the ones that we take captive. And what we do with those thoughts will determine the path that we take. So everything starts in your mind. Your thinking will completely guide the path that you take. So it always starts with your thinking. So focus is the first foremost thing that I mentioned in the book. And then I shift over and I talk about other things such as fitness, because that's a big part of my life, is exercise. And it's not only about exercising my body, which is important, but it's also exercising my mind. And that's through learning new skills, or going to a conference, or getting an education, or reading a book. So it's the fitness of the mind and the body working together is so important. And then the third one that I mentioned in the book, because I believe that everybody has a dream, everybody has a vision, everybody has a mission, and those dreams aren't always going to be cheap. So we need to be responsible managers of the money that we've been blessed with, and to give generously and spend wisely, and have a budget. And those things are important, because, we can have the greatest gift in the world, but if we don't have the financial responsibility to carry out that gift because of our financial irresponsibility, then we're not ever going to be able to share that gift with the world. So we need to be careful managers of that money, so we can provide the business ideas, entrepreneurship, and ideas to share with others. So we need to be very careful how we manage our money. That's a big part of it. And number 4, this is one that most adults forget about. Children never forget about this one. Adults forget about it on a regular basis. And the 4th F is fun. It's very hard to be good at something that you're not having fun. So I think it should be enjoyed. We should all make time in our calendar to schedule that fun activities, whether that's a vacation or a day off. I think fun is huge, because it gives your mind rest and relaxation to prepare you mentally for when you resume back to business and work and whatever the person is working on. So fun is huge to me, and I love to have fun. Sometimes maybe it's too much fun. I love to travel and I love to hike. So fun is huge for me, and I absolutely love it. So that's the first 4 right there.
Yeah, that's impactful. Super impactful, especially to think that, there are things that we forget, like fun. Just to make that present and to understand that that is like one of life's essential nutrients. This is huge.
Absolutely.
Thanks for creating this roadmap to really navigate these important pieces in our lives. So just so everyone knows, read the book and you get the other 4. So what's cool that I hear, what's cool that I hear in what you're saying is that you're talking about hiking. And this brings up, let's see where we're going here. This brings up a connection with nature.
It's be about connection.
Right?
Hello?
Yeah, we're here, Jesse.
It's Biddy.
Just let us know when you're ready.
That's the cool thing about lives is when unexpected things happen. How do you handle it? Like life. Life is life.
What's interesting is that we think that it's supposed to be certain.
What?
Life.
Who thinks it's supposed to be certain?
That things unexpected don't happen. Everything is unexpected.
Oh, yeah. That's like one of the struggles of life, of trying to force things to happen a certain way. And then when things happen a different way, I was actually thinking about that as you say nature, and as you wait for Jesse to, I was thinking about that on my nature walk that I just had, of just living life, trying to control life. And like the question that I asked, and it's a profound question because all of us can like answer the same question to this. Like, can you really predict how your day is going to go in every moment? Like saying, this is how my day is going to happen. And you get it right fully. Nobody ever got it right to the T like that. But if you did, I want to talk to you so I can get some lottery numbers from you. That's a different conversation. But yeah, we really can't predict how life is going to show up for us in each moment. We can set the intention for how we want to experience the life or our day, but it's like we don't know what exactly is going to happen in that day. But we can choose how we're going to show up in the day unconditionally.
True.
Is he back? You good to go?
I think I'm back. I don't know what happened. I'm sorry.
It's all good.
It's this powerful force that you are, man. You messing up technology over here.
So we're talking about uncertainty, and how we can be in the face of uncertainty. And we're talking about how certainty is really an illusion. How do you personally deal with the uncertainty of life?
I think that, so I had a professor say it to me like this, that, I think a lot of people think that the opposite of faith is doubt. But she said the opposite of faith is actually certainty. Because if you're 100% certain, it's no longer faith. So if I'm 100% certain about something, that means I'm working in my own ability and my own understanding, and therefore faith is completely removed. So it's okay for there to be uncertainty. That's perfectly fine. So I'm wanting to accept that. As there days that I struggle with it? Absolutely. Some uncertainties make me feel uneasy and uncomfortable. But that's why I need to not rely on my own abilities to begin with. So uncertainty, although it's uncomfortable, it is completely necessary for growth.
Facts. Yeah, that's my first time hearing that one too. That was really great. And before we had our break there, we were talking about nature. You're saying how, you'd like to hike, and that's part of the ways that that you really bring connection into your life. What are those hikes like? What does that do for you? What's your connection with nature? How does that come about?
Therapeutic to me. Anytime I'm out in the woods or I'm out hiking, I've noticed all my stress levels completely drop dramatically. And it's scientifically proven that people who go outdoors, people who get sunshine, are less stressed out. And for me, it's a way to connect with the Creator, not to worship the creation, because I think a lot of people, they look at the creation as the great gift, but it's really the Creator that makes the creation. You know, it's like looking at a painting. Someone paints a painting and they say, "Oh wow, that painting is beautiful." But we must remember who painted the canvas, you know, and giving thanks for that individual. And so being out in nature it's one of my favorite things to do in the world. Do it with my family and friends, and it's something we're passionate about doing on a regular basis. And I just think it just clarifies his creativity. I think he's a creative God, and being out in nature verifies that. And so any opportunity I get trying to be outside. Unfortunately, where I live today, it's actually snowing. So that was really scary to me to see this early in the year, but I know it'll go away soon. But, you know, I don't let a little snow stop me.
Is it really early? I mean, it's like almost Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the snow, but you know that's part of living this part of the world. So
right.
They even asked that question from the beginning. What part of the world are you at?
So I'm upstate New York. I'm right outside of Rochester.
Oh, okay. Tri-state.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's got some nature up there.
Yeah, you know, a lot of people, when they think of like New York State, they think of New York City, but you know, in all the traveling I've done, New York is one of the most beautiful states in the entire country. It's amazing up here. The mountains and the lakes and the hikes. I mean, it's just amazing.
Yeah, I just Googled, it was yesterday or Sunday. So curious to Google what caves are nearby. There's a lot of caves near here that we can like really explore. Explore some of these.
Yeah. Yeah. It also makes me really interested to ask you about your travels, Jesse. You know, you said that's another passion of yours. Where have you been in the world? What are some of your favorite places across the globe?
My favorite places across the globe?
Mm-hmm.
So I would say right at the top of the list, first would be Hawaii. Second would definitely have to be Iceland. That place is just amazing. And then third, probably, number 3. There's so many. I'd probably have to say California. I love California, so those would be my top 2 recommendations for everybody to see.
And one place you haven't been that you aspire to go?
I'm going to go with, because me and my family have been talking about it for so long, so we want to go to Italy.
Yeah. Highly recommended. I mean, personally, there's a lot of places that I've been as well, and what I found is that the thing that makes the place for me, like, nature is awesome, and I realized that the people in those places just really create this dynamic with the landscape, with all of the attractions and the things to do. The people, and who I spend my time with while I'm there just really creates the experience for me. You know, as I think too about the places where I aspire to go, and I just wonder what the people are like and who it is that will be there to connect with when making it there. And as we talk about, you know, the connection with the divine, you know, what conversations will be had to further establish that connection. There's a quote that I've heard, and that is that, you know, when we are in connection with our divinity, everything that happens in our life is just a reminder that we're all one. Does that resonate with you too, Jesse? And thanks for your comments. If you're here and you're watching, we'd love to hear from you. And of course, if you have any questions that you'd like to ask, this is such a curious topic. Hey.
I guess we wait. Ask that question one more time.
Which one?
The one you just said about the divinity.
Do you remember the question?
I don't. That's why I want to hear it again. And also, he probably didn't hear it either, but we'll see.
Yay!
And yeah, can you repeat that question one more time? I'm sorry, I cut out.
It's all about connectedness.
Oh, okay. Yeah, of course. I'll do my best. We're talking about like people and connecting with people along with locations. There was a quote that I heard that said that, you know, when we realize that when we're connected to our inner divinity, you know, that living life every day, you know, and seeing all of the differences actually become reminders that we're all one. And I was wondering if that resonates with you at all.
Yeah, so it makes me think of something that I heard is to know God is to know yourself, and to know yourself is to know God. And once you have that understanding that you're capable all over the world, becomes that much more meaningful and much more impactful. So for the people who may be confused about who they are and in their identity, once they have a clear understanding of why they were created, then life becomes more clear. Because if you don't know why you were created, you don't really know what you're supposed to do. And you can't really know why you were created unless you have a relationship with the one who created you. So it just provides clarity, and, you know, understanding who you are and understanding whose you are will always empower the individual to achieve any goal they may set out to achieve.
Absolutely. It reminds me of a part of my journey where I was like, you know, I heard about this word miracle. Like, what in the world does that mean? And, you know, I thought it was like, you know, this thing, you know, that happens, you know, in response to, you know, a connection or, you know, or asking the divine. So I'm like, you know, on my journey, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'd love to experience a miracle, you know, keep asking. And, you know, I set the intention for like a few days. I was like, love to, you know, just like know what this means. And at the end of that time period, you know, that I had set that intention for, you know, I heard the words in my head that you are the miracle. And it kind of like created a new framework for me in terms of experiencing life. You know, it's like thinking about life as this like external thing. And it's like, you are life, you know, life is flowing through you. You know, so when you're talking about, you know, knowing yourself and knowing God and knowing God and knowing yourself, you know, it really gets me present to this infinite loop, you know, of external, internal, internal, external. And it's such a profound dynamic to be present to. So thank you so much for bringing it up in that way.
Absolutely.
So if there were, I saw some comments here, you know, using the word struggle, you know, for anyone that you know of that you can speak to who, you know, says, who uses that word, you know, in relationship to their life and their experience, you know, like what words of advice would you be able to share with them?
You know, I can't really think of one individual on earth who hasn't. So, and I especially point to, you know, I think I make this reference in the book, is that if you could think of someone who is your role model in life, a hero, whether that's a famous athlete, a famous musician, a famous actor or actress, if you really got to know more about that individual, I can almost guarantee almost all of them had a struggle along the way. And so the difference between the people like that we look up to and want to become like, and the people that we know who have let the struggles defeat them, is that you have to make a decision. Is this struggle meant to stop me or to guide me into the direction? So there's going to be struggles. And when you make the conscious decision that I'm not going to allow a struggle to define me, I'm going to use this struggle as a way to hurdle me to the next level, because struggles are just preparation for the next level. That's all they are. But if you look at it as a struggle, as in a barrier that you cannot overcome, then people will become stuck there. You know, I have plenty of struggles with writing this book. There were days I wanted to quit. I thought that I wasn't meant to be a writer. This doesn't make no sense for me. I can't do this anymore. But it was through overcoming the struggle is what made this all possible. You know, I mean, any person who struggles is on the right path to success, because all successful people struggle. There's just no way around it. You cannot have success without some struggle. So I would encourage the people who are feeling like their life is in constant struggle and they've been struggling their entire lives, you know, to understand that getting a new perspective on what that struggle means and what to now do with it will provide the clarity that they need to not live in struggle. Because there's a difference between living in a struggle and going through struggle. Living in struggle is to constantly complain about the struggle. Going through a struggle is to experience the pain and then say, now what? People who live in a struggle say, why me? People who want to be successful in the struggle say, now what? And that's the difference. Now what am I going to do with the struggle that I experienced?
Love that. Now what instead of why me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was looking at the time because I was, remember before our podcast or before we did this episode, I made the intention. I'm like, when there's some like powerful stuff that's said in this, I wanted to make sure that I know the exact time where it happened, so that way we can be able to use it to like really showcase this episode. There's so many moments
Yes.
that I can use for that, but this one right here, wow, wow. And from the comments, you have somebody that wants your book, which is a perfect segue.
Yeah. And shout out to Uvalka, and shout out to Jose Flores, who has the quote, "Don't let your struggle become your standard." You know, there's so many ways that we're connected here.
Oh, wow.
You know? Yeah. And these profound messages are just, like you said, they're gifts that are flowing through all of us. Thank you for that gift, Jesse. The gift of now what? Beautiful. Beautiful. So, in curiosity, now what for you? What are you up to? You know, you're on the road to completing your master's. You know, what does it look like for you in being a remarkable contribution to the world?
So, I mean, my next step is, I'm working on my second book currently. So that's going to be the next big step for me. The second book is basically an autobiography of every day we were in the hospital, everything that we experienced in depth, detail. I'm really letting the world in on the biggest struggle. As we're talking about struggles, I'm being very personal and transparent with the biggest struggle of my entire life in detail. Second book's going to cover all that, and and see where that takes me. I mean, I want to carry on my daughter's legacy, and always looking for more speaking opportunities, and whether that's in churches, whether that's at military bases, whether that's nonprofits or college universities. I'm on a search, because I know that I'm not the only one who suffers greatly. We all suffer from something, and I just want people to suffer a little less, and I want them to heal a little bit more.
You see this? This is the impact that you're having.
Yeah. And I know I'm not alone with that either.
Absolutely. So thank you. Thank you for sharing your gifts.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you guys.
Absolutely. And anything we can do, to spread the word about your second book and your first book.
Yeah, I mean, definitely for the people who are listening, and your network of people, for anyone who's looking to have a speaker come in, or looking to purchase the book. It is on Amazon, on BarnesandNoble.com. For those who, a lot of my customers contact me directly. So I am on Facebook, I am on Instagram. Instagram is author Jesse Cruz. On Instagram, I'm on LinkedIn. So I'm easy to connect with on social media platforms for those who want a personalized copy, or they can get it online on Amazon or Barnes and Noble as well. So for people looking for speaking engagements, my emails, author Jesse Cruz at gmail.com. All those platforms work. I check them regularly. So yeah, I mean, I appreciate the time that you guys have given me to share. So thank you guys so much.
Thank you. Thank you. You've got a lot of supporters here. The love is coming into the comments. There's love over here for you as well. We really appreciate you sharing your story vulnerably and really giving practical steps, towards just being you.
Absolutely.
Beautiful. It's so amazing. We're almost at the top of the hour again. Do you have any parting words for everyone who's joining us today, or who may listen to this episode in the future?
Yeah. I mean, I would say that every single day is truly a gift. And the reason why it's a gift is because you woke up today, and some people didn't. And the simple fact that you woke up today means there's something meaningful and purposeful for you to do. And there's people all over this world who are counting on you, praying that you will use your gift. There are people your gift is so valuable that it could save someone's life. And by choosing to not share it and not use it, that you're actually hurting other people. And that's what I realized, is that since I have a gift, I need to share it with others. So I would encourage everyone to develop and learn about what their gift is, and then understand that you go full, all out, and to give it and to share it and to donate it and to spread it, because we all spread something into this world. Why not spread something we're great at?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jesse. Thank you so much for being here with us. And thank you, everyone, for tuning in, for listening, for watching. We appreciate you, and we hope that you carry this message into your life with you.
Thank you, guys.
You're most welcome. And again, everyone, see you next weekend.
Stay magical.